In my book, still a successful weekend for the Milwaukee Brewers. Man, they are within range of getting that number one seed in the National League. We'll talk about that and a huge week for the Brewers with the Dodgers in town on Monday night. All that and more coming up next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, you look at the standings here, the Brewers with their 50 losses, Philadelphia and the LA Dodgers, 49 losses apiece. Phillies had a rough weekend in Arizona. Dodgers swept the Pirates, and the Brewers took 2 of 3 from the Reds. We'll get to all that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Hey, everybody. Thanks a ton. Ran into a lot of you guys out at AmFam Field on Sunday. I go to a lot of Sunday games. I sit in the stands a lot. Otherwise, I'm covering the game up in the press box. But Sunday, sitting in the stands and got to meet a lot of you great fans who listen to this podcast. And I tell you what, I truly appreciate it. You see me at a game. I'm telling you, see me at a game, walk in the corridors or whatever, just please pull me aside, say hello, and love to always chat. If you got something you want to say, something you want differently about Locked On Brewers, hey man, I'm always open to suggestions. But man, it's us Brewer fans. We're an elite company here because, I just feel like, as a Brewers fan, people are always targeting us. We're always feeling bad about our team. Even when something good happens, we feel like, well, the shoe is going to drop. The national networks, ESPN won't show us on Sunday Night Baseball, stuff like that. But sure enough, we find our way to the Amazons or the Apple TVs where you got to pay a couple of extra bucks Friday night. I feel like they're on every Friday night broadcast on, what is it, Amazon, I think it is. But my gosh, they can't find their way over on ESPN. But anyway, that doesn't matter. The Brewers are in the thick of things with getting one of the top 2 seeds in the National League. And if you know the playoff format, which most of you guys do, if you get one of the top 2 seeds, you're going to get a first round bye. You're not going to be able to play. You don't have to play in that wild card round. The team with the worst record of the 3 divisions plays in that wild card round, which the Brewers had to do last year. So we're trying to avoid that. And I think the Brewers are on pace. Took 2 of 3 this weekend against the Reds. We're going to get to that coming up a little bit later on in the show. But the aforementioned Los Angeles Dodgers in town for a first of a 4-game set coming up tonight. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all-night games. Thursday, the afternoon game. And we got Cleveland coming up for the weekend, another divisional leader in the American League Central. We'll get to them when the time comes. But first of all, locked in on the Dodgers, who just came away with a 3-game sweep, went to extra innings on Sunday, and they kind of cooled off the Pirates. I was hoping the Pirates would go in there and, by gosh, win 1 game at least. But the Dodgers swept them, and the Dodgers won a game on Sunday. They've been winning those extra inning games, blowing games late and all that this year. That has been one of their benchmarks this year. But Sunday, 10th inning, Pirates scored top of the 10th. And would you know what? Teoscar Hernandez gets the game-winning RBI. They score 2 in the bottom of the 10th, and the Dodgers complete the sweep. But they come here. Now they take the long flight. They probably got into Milwaukee at midnight. You're ready for the night game coming up a little bit later on tonight. So the pitching matchups. The Brewers are going to see their stars. They're not going to see Glasnow, who's been having just a series of injuries over his career. They're going to miss him, but they're going to get Clayton Kershaw coming up on Monday night. And what is Kershaw, like 36, 37 years old at this point? I feel like he played with Garvey, Say, and Davey Lopes and those guys. He's been around so long. But he's been around since probably, realistically, 2007? Kershaw, one of the great left-handers. First ballot Hall of Famer, no question about it. Coming back from injury, Kershaw has not pitched into the 5th inning, I don't believe, this year. He's made 3 starts. And he has not yet to pitch 5 innings there this year in his starts. So he's made 3 starts. He has yet to go 5 innings in any of them. But that doesn't mean anything when they're facing the Milwaukee Brewers. As you know, those are the kind of guys that seem to always get us somehow. But he's struggling coming back from injuries. He's laboring out there. Hopefully, the Brewers will have the right-handed hitting lineup. Maybe not see Terang for a second day in a row. He was not in the lineup Sunday with the lefty on the hill for Cincinnati, but we'll have the right-handed lineup up against Kershaw, no doubt, coming up on Monday. Freddie Peralta makes the start. The Brewers, I read, are 11-6. 11-6 in Peralta's 17 starts this year. This game's a pick-em on the betting line. On the betting line, a pick-em. Brewers getting some respect there, I think. They at home, the Dodgers, when a betting line has been that low, they're like 4-9 this year. When they're dogs or a pick-em, they are 4-9 this year. Just some betting information right there. But Kershaw, like I said, one of the great left-handers of all time, will face the Brewers. We'll see what Peralta has for him. Now, the Brewers are struggling a little offensively. We're going to get to that coming up here a little bit later on in the show. Tuesday's starters, Colin Ray. Well, we know what Colin Ray's doing. He's 10-3. The Brewers are winning, I feel like, every start he pitches. For them, I think Gavin is on the hill for them. Let me just double check that, because I saw a conflicting report on that. I should have double checked that. I wrote a note next to it, but I think let's double check there. For Tuesday's 7-10 start, it is indeed going to be Gavin Stone. Yeah, he's 9-5 on the season. Shouldn't have second guessed it myself. I wrote that down. He's one of those guys, Stone, pitches to contact, weak contact, not a big overpowering guy, and he'll face Colin Ray coming up on Tuesday. Wednesday, Montes is going to start against Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler struggling this year. As of late, giving up the home run ball. An ERA of near 6. Walker Buehler is not having a very good last couple of starts. Recent starts, he's given up like 7 home runs over his last 23 innings. So that's the start for the Brewers on the opponent for the Brewers on Wednesday. Montes, 2 starts with the Brewers. Got to get that guy turned around, even though the Brewers have won both of his starts. Thursday, Flaherty, 10 strikeouts in his last outing. And interesting for Thursday, it is not going to be Savale pitching. The Brewers have moved Myers up to that spot Thursday. So Savale probably gets bumped to Friday. So Myers is going to move up and pitch that spot in place of Savale coming up on Thursday. So with the Brewers, again, going with Peralta, Ray, Montes, and Myers. That is my 4-man, as I said earlier this year, well, like last week. That's my 4-man in September if I'm really trying to catch the Phillies and Dodgers. But I like it. I like the pitching matchups. And I know on paper we're going to say, the Dodgers are coming to town. Yeah, the Dodgers got some offense. Although, you look at offensively, they're not just beating down teams this year, but struggling, I feel, with runners in scoring position. But obviously, Teoscar Hernandez, who won the home run title at the All-Star game, he's on a tear. He's got 26 home runs on the season. Mookie Betts coming back. He hasn't played since mid-June, coming back from the broken hand, and they're going to put him in right field. And I think that's a decision that Mookie Betts is welcoming, because it sounds like he was not a big fan of playing shortstop. Not that he was backing down from the challenge, but I think that was kind of getting in his way a little bit, getting his head a little bit. He said every night he went to sleep, he always had the back of his mind that he had to play shortstop the next day. That extra pressure of playing shortstop. They're going to move him in right field. That was a mutual decision, the Dodgers are saying, between, or it sounds like the writers in Los Angeles, the media's saying that Betts moving in the right field. He's going to be playing his first game coming up on Monday night. We know about Shohei. 35 homers on the season, 83 RBIs, probably the betting favorite to win the MVP in the National League in his first. I didn't mean to that was just a slip right there. The betting favorite, Ohtani, in the National League to win the MVP. But he probably is, I would say, with all the great numbers he's putting up. Ohtani having a great year in his first year with Los Angeles. Freddie Freeman, 29 doubles, 17 home runs, 289. Don't have to tell you, you know how great Freddie Freeman is. Will Smith, 20 homers on the season. So up and down this lineup, Will Smith, Freeman, Ohtani, Hernandez, Betts coming back. It's a heck of a lineup. It's a heck of a lineup. But, hey, these games aren't won. These games aren't won in the stats column. Well, sure they are, but, the Brewers don't have to take a back seat to these guys whatsoever. Dropped 2 or 3 to them earlier this year in Los Angeles. And the Brewers have an opportunity right now to gain some ground, not only on them, but on the Phillies. Both the Dodgers and the Phillies are tied for the best record in the National League with 49. And I'm looking merely at the loss column right now. Both teams have 49 losses. The Brewers have 50 losses by not getting the job done on Sunday. We'll get to that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. And I think the Brewers made a mistake in that game. That kind of cost them. We'll get to that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Good to have you along here on Locked On Brewers. You get us on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast. We are there. Download the podcast, save us, subscribe to us. All the content is free. Wherever you go, wherever you download your podcast, please save us, download us. We're there Monday through Friday. And I'll tell you what, once we get to September and this thing gets tight a little bit, we're going to try to go to 7 days a week. For sure in the postseason, we'll be 7 days a week. But as of right now, 5 days a week. And then when we get down to the pennant race, when we get down to the nitty-gritty, we'll be doing 7 days a week until the Brewers at least clinch. We might even go further than that and just make it 7 days the rest of the season. Anyway, that's down the road. SupplyHouse. SupplyHouse. Get supplies from the site that's made for skilled trade, supplyhouse.com. A reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, electrical products online. Easy-to-use website. Packed with helpful resources, the latest product information to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory, over 200,000 parts, 400 of the top brands, and get your order delivered right to your door. Fast shipping, coast to coast. You need help with the order. Man, they're friendly business people. They're customer service people, friendliest folks. You talk to a real person. You don't have to worry about talking to automation with those guys. Pros, they are in the skilled trades. And you know what? You pros out there in the skilled trades, you get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free TradeMaster program. Every TradeMaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, discounts at every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting with a free membership. SupplyHouse.com/T-M. Order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere a few clicks away at SupplyHouse.com. I know that we have a lot of guys in the skilled trades out there who listen to this podcast in our great state of Wisconsin. You all are early risers. I appreciate that, and take advantage of SupplyHouse.com. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Good to have you along here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen to every day. And that I mentioned, you also get us on YouTube. For those of you who download the podcast on the audio version, please sign us up on YouTube. Go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell that alerts you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers in the Locked On Brewers studio. If you're watching me right now, got all the memorabilia up there. One day in the off season, we'll go through some of this. People have asked me about that and all that. But that's just some of the stuff that I have on the wall of events I've covered. Been covering the Brewers for a long, long time in Milwaukee. And of course, my favorite sports teams in the state of Wisconsin, my favorite sports team. And is there anything better than being at AmFam Field on a Sunday afternoon? Sunday afternoon, being out there today. A little disappointed, though, that the ceiling experience has been down. I make a trip there every homestand. I go up there. It's been missing for the last month and a half, I want to say. Went over there, third base side today. Before I went up the escalator, said, ceiling experience working? Nope. Says they're closed for remodeling. You would think the Brewers would do the remodeling in the offseason. I don't know. Last time I was there, back in June it might have been? Seemed good to me. Ceiling experience, when they get that up and running in, you got to take advantage of it. It's a little known secret about AmFam Field. They ought to advertise it on the scoreboard when the scoreboard is working. All right. Brewers did take 2 or 3 this weekend against the Reds. And when I talked about the part of the game that disappoints me, I'm not going to talk much about this game on Sunday because, the Brewers, we're moving on to the Dodgers. But I thought in the 7th inning, walking Ellie De La Cruz there, who, is also an MVP candidate, but there's a runner at second, first base open. I don't know why you walk Ellie De La Cruz there. Murphy thought it was a no-brainer. Walked Ellie De La Cruz. The next batter, they walked, not intentionally, like Ellie, then a sacrifice fly brought in the go-ahead run, and the Brewers, double play ball, 7th inning, Jackson Churio, 8th inning, Contreras, and 9th inning, 1, 2, 3, not even a threat in the bottom half of the 9th inning. But I thought Ellie De La Cruz, he must not like, and I'm going to say Murphy, did not like Joe Ross facing Ellie De La Cruz there. That's all I can think of right there. I don't know why you're running scared of Ellie De La Cruz. He's a great player, 20 home runs, batting like 266, but you tied him down for most of the series. You held him down. For most of the series. And now he walks, and then, but I'll tell you, getting that guy on base, was sitting behind home plate today, man, 6'5", what an athlete. What an athlete Ellie De La Cruz is. I think I say that every time the Brewers play the Reds, but you see him on second base, man, his leadoff is like halfway to third. And, he tried stealing third one time, but it was a fly out the center field, I believe it was. But, man, that guy is just great. But I wouldn't have walked him in that situation. I thought DL Hall, some good and some bad, 9 strikeouts, lost his sharpness, I thought, by the 5th inning. Gave him a go-ahead home run in the 5th inning. Lost his sharpness out there. Mears came in, and then Ross pitched 3 innings. I thought Ross, did a nice job because my expectations of Joe Ross aren't high. All right. The Brewers needed some length in the bullpen because they were a little short out there today with Hobie Milner out. But I thought Ross pitched right. He gave up the sac fly in the 7th, got a little scary there. It could have been worse. That inning could have been a lot worse. But the bottom line is the Brewer offense, which had been cooking all last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then Saturday, when they won 1-0 in the Saturday, got to about the 6th inning on Saturday. And I thought, all right, I can see this offense cooling down a little bit. And sure enough, the Brewers got a home run by Rhys Hoskins in the 8th inning. And then in the 9th inning, there was the Brewers 1-2-3 in the top of the 9th inning with a 1-2-3. Then Sunday comes along, and the Brewers get the early home run from Joey Ortiz, and you're thinking, okay, and then other than Gary Sanchez getting on base, he got on base a couple of walks and a base hit in the 1st inning. Brewers were very silent offensively. 6th inning, they had an opportunity. They did tie it on an RBI single by Adames, but man, at 3rd, 1 out, they couldn't get that runner in, the go-ahead run, and kind of that was the last Brewer threat of the day. But still, no worry of taking 2 or 3 from these guys. And I'll say this too, they're so hot offensively. They were not going to keep that up. They were not going to, at that level at least. Now you just hope it doesn't go in the other direction, especially with these 2 good teams coming to town, the Dodgers and Cleveland. Yeah, offensively, last 2 days, that's just the way, I know that's the way baseball is, but I feel like, because we are focused in on the Milwaukee Brewers, I feel like that's the way the Milwaukee Brewers go. Sometimes it's like feast or famine. I even said this like last week when the Brewers said, get ready. Don't get too much into this explosive offense. They scored 16 in that final game against the Braves. I said, it'll come down eventually. And sure, Brewers, man, they just like come crashing down. They come from scoring 8, 10, 16 runs in a game right down to 1 run and then 2 runs on Sunday, 1 run on Saturday, 2 runs on Sunday. When they cool off, man, they cool off. But like I said, let's hope that doesn't continue because they need the bats. You need the bats to match up with these guys, the Dodgers guys. Again, I mentioned sometimes they struggle with runners in scoring position. I feel like, but they got the, Betts coming back, Hernandez, of course, Ohtani, Freeman, Smith, just to name a few. I mean, they got some guys who can stick on this team. And, on Miller Park on certain days, man, that ball's going to be flying out of there. But I believe the Brewers can have a decent series. This is a good litmus test, all right, for the Brewers. We talked about how tough August was going to be and is. So far, the Brewers are doing well in the month of August. So far, they're doing well. Okay, we'll take sweeping the Atlanta, taking 2 of 3 from the Reds. Now the Dodgers in Cleveland here in the middle of the month. Got to keep this thing going. And can't have an offensive freeze against these guys. That's for sure. All right, we come back. We'll talk to you about some roster moves that could potentially be happening on Monday. We'll get to that coming up next. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Ibotta, you buy stuff everywhere. Sandals, sunscreen, snacks for the kids in the summer. Maybe you take a vacation. You're dreading the cost. Ibotta, you get cash back on all your purchases. It's a free app. Lets you earn cash every time you shop. Earn on the hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies, even toys, so you can make sure you're beating the inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user saves about $256 a year, sometimes more in some cases. Other apps give you points. Ibotta, you get cash back that you can withdraw from your bank account. You could save on over 2,000 brands, Best Buy, Sephora, Lowe's, Macy's, and a whole lot more. Right now, Ibotta is offering Locked On listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta. So use the promo code Locked On MLB when you register. Go to the App Store, go to the Google Play Store, download the free Ibotta app, start earning cash back, and use the promo code Locked On MLB. Ibotta, IBOTTA. In Google Play or the App Store, use the promo code Locked On MLB. FanDuel is the number one sports book in America for a reason. Well, they hook up customers all the time with boosts and bonus. They do that daily. And right now, there's something for everyone all summer long. Did you get in on some of the action this weekend with the NFL exhibition games? I'm a big fan of the unders in those exhibition games, just a Freeman secret there. Or maybe the baseball, whatever you want. Like I said, the Brewers are a slight favorite, I believe. A 115 favorite, a pick 'em, a 115 favorite Monday night against the Dodgers. Head over to FanDuel.com. Start making the most of your summer. It's the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball for a reason. They are trusted, no doubt about it. And again, some of their matches that they got there, their boosts, their bonuses daily, man, there's always something there. But you got to check it out. Go to FanDuel.com. Start making the most of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. All right. A couple of injury notes here. By the way, DL Hall, he will probably, after all that rehab, and he made the start on Sunday, probably targeted for the bullpen, which we saw watching him pitch on Sunday. There's obviously something there with him that we like, but first mound appearance since April. I think they got a lot out of DL Hall. Now, if he went out there and got crushed for 9 runs, I wouldn't feel so good about it, but I like the way he threw. Got himself out of a couple of jams, got a couple guys on base, got out of it and all that. Yeah, he left with a 3-2 deficit, but I think there's something for Hall out of the bullpen right now. Hudson is due back sometime in this series, possibly Monday, trying to come back from the oblique. Hoby Milner, boy, Milner is going on the injured list with a left shoulder impingement. So we'll see about that. That's something apparently that's been chronic with Milner over the years, and he's got it cropping up again, the left shoulder impingement. It's not been the greatest of years for Milner, but nonetheless, had he not gone on the injured list, the Brewers would be faced with some really, really odd moves that they might have to make on Monday, but they won't have to make them because you got McGill coming back pretty soon. He's going to be throwing batting practice later today. And of course, he'll have a short rehab assignment after that. But Hudson coming back on Monday, maybe. We'll see what the corresponding roster move is. Will it be Joe Ross? Will it be Joe Ross? Would they take him off the 40-man and DFA him? I don't know. He pitched all right on Sunday. Had he got crushed on Sunday, he might have been a candidate for that. Who knows? All right. That's going to do it. Again, appreciate everybody coming up to be at the game today or on Sunday, saying hello. Always great meeting the great Brewer fans of Locked On Brewers. Google, Spotify, Apple, run all those major downloads. Wherever you download your podcasts, we are there. And of course, on YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode on Locked On Brewers. Please follow me on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. On Twitter, love reading your comments. DM me if you have any questions. I'll always get back to you. I always like hearing your comments. Out of nowhere, I'll just see somebody ask me a question. And if somehow I overlook it or whatever, don't, have any hard feelings, nothing personal. I just missed it by somehow. But the best bet, if you really want to ask me a question, DM me and I'll for sure get back to you. I'll see it for sure. All right. And then I want to tell you all as well, if you like Locked On, we have a ton of, every baseball team, every basketball team has got a Locked On Bucks, Locked On Packers with our buddy Peter Bukowski. We're everywhere. And there's also a Locked On MLB. Our man Sully does that. He does a great episode Monday through Friday talking Major League Baseball. Tune in, make your second listen. Make Locked On Brewers your first, Locked On MLB your second to start your day. Hey, everybody, thanks a lot, everybody. We'll be here after Monday night's game, hopefully with a win. Hopefully Freddie can give him a good one, and they can take down Clayton. Kershaw, again, he has not made it into the fifth inning in any of his starts so far this year. We'll see what he has on store for Milwaukee as he makes his fourth start of the year. So long, everybody. Have yourself a great Monday.